Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Special thank you to our sponsors, the Gillette Home team of Keller Williams Midwillamette. For all your real estate needs, go to teamgillette.com. And thank you to our new sponsor, Joseph Gonzalez and In the Game Group. For more information, go to joseph@inthegamegroup.com. Good morning, everybody. We are slowly getting ready, and there we are. It's The Experience live with Russ and Scott. We are so glad you're here. You know, we're here at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every week for your viewing and listening pleasure with amazing people, starting with my amazing friend and co-host, Mr. D. Scott Smith. How's it going, Scott?
Mr. Herman, paging Mr. Herman. I was just watching the comments before we got started, and Brian Schulman, who was on season 1, episode 1, and that was the morning that I got up and we had no power to the house, and I had to get in the car, use my phone, drive to a spot where I could actually get a cell signal because I didn't have cell coverage at our house, and use the dome light as my lighting source. And Brian was our first guest, and I just thank you, Brian, for inviting all the folks to the show this morning.
Yeah, you know, I
or
was
this
going to
afternoon
say
if you're in England, GMT.
wherever you are. Well, yeah, I was going to say, you know, we love for people to share this out, and you can do it many ways. Number one, you can hit that share button right now and share it out and tell people amazing
Ding, ding.
things are happening. Number two, you can just start tagging your friends. Tell them, you know what? You do not want to miss Nancy today. It's going to be amazing. I mean, Russ and Scott are but Nancy's amazing. So
That's right.
you don't want to miss that. So also, we just want to remind all of you that we appreciate all of you joining our YouTube community. You can go to the experience.video. We keep it simple. Just type in the experience.video. It'll take you directly to our YouTube page. You can join today and get access not only to upcoming shows and notices about that, but you get all the past content of the amazing people we've had on, including Brian Schulman, including Tim
what is he
Sohn,
doing up, by the
somebody-
way? Is he traveling on the East Coast? Like, what's he doing up at 7 a.m.?
Who knows? It is pretty amazing. It's amazing what he'll do for Nancy to support her. So anyway, so listen, I just am so grateful, Scott, for life and for your friendship and all that you bring. Tell everybody what you got going on this week.
Boy, I tell you, it's just it's the first of the month. This is here it is. It's March 1st. We're starting the third month of the first quarter of this year, 2023. We've got producing the Aging Better Network with Christine Smith, who is my wife, and that's 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. And then you can watch it actually streaming on her website at the agingbetternetwork.com. And it's just exciting. I've got working with some new clients this week, and just like projects like that. It's just I said that my word for this year is singularity. and that is that a small effort can have a huge impact. And I think that's what we're going to find today as we get into talking with Nancy, is that it takes just saying yes to have a huge impact. Before we got started in the green room, she's telling me some stuff that's going on that started as a small conversation, but it's going to have a huge impact. It is having a huge impact.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my word for 2023 is opportunity. And Nancy has provided great opportunities for many people, including myself. And I am just blessed to have so many amazing friends. And you know what? I just think we should bring her on and get the show started. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
She's ready. She's back in
We
that
have the,
green room, got all of her
every
merch
week-
around her. There she is. Woohoo!
There we go. Every
Morning.
week on The Experience, we have the most remarkable people on the planet on the show, and Russ and Scott too.
Well, it's pretty remarkable and incredible to be people that bring people together and grow community. So don't undersell yourselves.
Well, we love, that I'm all about connection and community, Nancy, and you have been a big part of that. And I know that most everybody, I mean, you're famous. Most everybody knows you, but, I knew you back in the
Yes.
day. But anyway, tell everybody a little bit about Nancy and what you're up to.
Hey, okay, so Nancy Debra Barrows, and I live here in LA, and I am a human, and I am a perfectly flawed human who believes in radiating real so that we show up as we are and we get that unconditional love and acceptance that we all deserve. I am a co-host of 2 global award-winning live shows with Brian Schulman, shout out Saturday and What's Good Wednesday. I am a coach with the Chick with the Tool Belt, an empowerment coach, helping people find their voice and be comfortable using it. I also coach people on LinkedIn on how to make the most and harness the power of LinkedIn. This is an amazing platform with an amazing community. I am a keynote speaker. I am soon to be an author as of March 24th, the book series, yes, that I'm a part of. The first book launches March 24th. It's the Book of Influence. I've had the honor and privilege of creating something amazing with 33 other contributing authors. Oh my gosh, I am the co-founder of Peakaboo, which is a data analytics company that's really bringing LinkedIn back down to the level of human and heart to heart. We're ditching those vanity metrics, and bringing it back to really what matters, the person behind the number, because that's really what it's about. It's about the time we take to get to know one another. It's about showing up for one another. It's about making sure that everyone is seen, heard, loved, and valued. And I am newly 50 years old and owning my age.
So I just have to say this. So this is what comes to mind when you're talking about bringing the humanness back in, bringing the people back in to LinkedIn and dumping those vanity metrics. And my favorite movie of all time, Wizard of Oz, and the great scene, right, where they're in the hall, the Wizard's Hall, and there's fire and there's the big face and there's the music and all this stuff is going on, right? And he says, ignore the man behind the curtain. But what happens? It's when the curtain is pulled back and they get that connection to the wizard, right? That's when the magic really happened. It was truly that relationship that happened. So I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Well,
and I may have to steal that comparison.
Yeah. That is a good one. That is a good one. And I want to talk about peeling back the curtain, because the whole thing with Radiating Real that you've done, just drawing back who we really are. We don't want to share all of our dirty laundry with everybody, but sometimes it's time to just get real and come together, even through life's challenges. And I have a surprise for you this morning. One person who's just done this amazingly with you, Nancy, is our good friend, Mr. Tim Stone, is in the house.
Yay!
Right.
Nancy Barrows. Good morning. Nancy Barrows.
Unfortunately, Daniel could not make it this morning, and we just are wishing Daniel all the best and everything there, and we'll have him on another time. But Tim was willing to jump in and just add some joy to this morning with you, Nancy. So here he is.
Very sneaky, but thank you. It's so good to see you.
Me too.
Yeah, and we were talking about Radiating Real, and Tim was one of the first people who jumped in both feet and Radiating Real was created from my own experience of having hid behind masks for so many years and then jumping on here and LinkedIn and doing what no one thought like you should do. When I speak, I ask people, who here, raise your hand, thinks that talking about sexual abuse on LinkedIn is appropriate? And everybody sort of cringes like, no, but that's exactly what I did. And I showed up real and authentic and I was just me. And I realized based on people's reactions that doesn't happen very often and people aren't comfortable with it. And so that's where Radiating Real came from, because we all deserve to show up 100% who we are 100% of the time and be loved and accepted for that. And it's part of where Peakaboo came from too, right? Is everybody deserves to be seen, heard, loved, and valued. And how can we do that? How can we create an environment? Well, we can do it through our content where we share the ugly, snotty, unsexy pieces, as you were referring to, Russ, because we're all out here living life and being human. And we know exactly how hard it can be some days, as well as it can be, the most beautiful thing we get to do. So I love being able to meet new people. I love having the privilege of making them feel seen, heard, loved, and valued. I love having the privilege of having them find their voice and being in that moment with them when they really step fully into themselves and realize like, this is all I need. I've got it. I'm me. It's the thing I was looking for all along was within inside of me, right? There's nothing that anyone has to give to me, sort of like you don't need the heart, you don't need the, all the stuff from the Wizard of Oz. And Peekaboo really brings us back to that. I mean, one of my favorite things, and I'm going to go on about Peekaboo because it's one of my favorite things that I'm so proud to be a part of. But for me, I take pride in engaging. I'm known as the Queen of Engagement. I love engaging. I love taking the time to get to know people. And I'm actually distressed at times when I can't. And one of the things Peekaboo does, it has a couple of amazing features. Everything it does is really, again, back to human. And it does two things for me. One, poof, there she is. It's officially a show. We've got cattail. Yay. It gives me back time, right? Because I can do things more quickly and more efficiently. In the report, I have people's in the Peekaboo ICU reports. I should tell everybody what I'm thinking fully. It gives you links to each profile for everyone who commented at the show. And you can go back and really like not searching through. I can go back. I know what you said because we are all show hosts. So we know what it's like, trying to be present, work with the comments, make sure everybody feels welcomed and is said hello to and valued. It's not easy to do. So after the show, being able to go to my ICU report and be like, okay, Russ was there, click his profile. This is what he said. Oh, that's right, I remembered. Or if I missed something, somebody said something and maybe I missed it. And I'm like, oh, wow. Now I have the opportunity to go back. The other thing I love, and there's so many things, as I keep saying the other thing, I'll say it a lot, is it will show you the last time someone was at your show, commented, right? And Peekaboo works for posts as well, but I'm going to focus right now on live because we are. And that to me is a huge metric. And that goes from vanity to reality, because you can have a million people look at your post, but what does it mean? What does it represent, right? If you don't know the people behind it and you're not giving them love and you're not reciprocating, that's how you lose community. It's not how you grow community. But if you could look at a report and say, oh my gosh, I see that Brian Schulman showed up week after week and now he hasn't been here for 3 weeks. I need to reach out. Something's changed. I need to connect and see what's going on because, again, there's a human behind every number. Right. And I think I'm answering some other question that you haven't yet asked, as happens when I am on. So Tim is here. Great. I know he has some things to say, but I think that it's time, and that's what people want. The more I see people radiating real, the more I see people owning their age, the more engagement I see, the more community I see showing up for that. And so that's what's telling me, we had something in the Heart of Hollywood about us, and it was all about the heart. It's all about the heart. It's all about the human. The numbers we've been looking at have really been leading us astray. They really have been getting us away from, where I'd like to think we all want to be, which is building community, meeting great people, supporting one another, cheerleading one another, showing up for one another.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I want to throw in here, and then we're going to give Tim just a minute to say hey and what he's up to. And that is, both of you in my life have been amazing friends, not just on screen, not just in, things like this, but we're texting each other, we're calling each other, we're talking outside of all of that. because that's what life is all about. It's engaging and living life with others, with friends, and that's what true connection is. So just alert for everybody out there watching on LinkedIn that when I say, hey, let's connect, instantly sends me a 10-page sales pitch. You can scratch that because that's not connection. What you need to send me is, hey, it's so great to connect. Let's learn about each other. Let's learn how we can support and bless each other. And Tim, you're definitely that way. So Tim, take a moment, tell everybody the one or two people that don't know you, and then what you're up to.
Hey, Russ, thanks so much. Hey, everybody, I'm Tim Sohn. I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a live stream producer. I host a show called Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. I'm allegedly an author of a book called Perspectives on Cancer. Cancer patients, survivors, and supporters share their stories.
Allegedly.
I was going to say allegedly.
I really am. It's still sinking in, but yes, it's true. I also co-host a show called The Tim and Jim Show, which is right after this at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So that's what I'm up to. I'm a 16-year cancer survivor of chronic myeloid leukemia. And I love to create safe spaces for people to show up and share their stories. And Nancy here is a dear friend of mine and is one of the people that inspired me to share my cancer story. So I'm just, anytime that I can show up to support Nancy, and we were messaging about this recently about cheerleading each other. So I was saying that if I need to get some pom-poms so I could show up with my pom-poms to support her. So yeah, that's a little bit
in one
about
hand
me.
and a screaming goat in the other.
I wish I was down to I should have brought my goat up. I'm in my kitchen.
Okay.
Oh, Nancy is prepared.
Russ grabbed his, I grabbed mine.
Yes.
There we go.
Brian Schulman had a screenshot of that somewhere for you.
We have again, we have. I love the comments that are going on, and thank you for everyone for connecting. I love the conversations when people are greeting each other in the conversations. And Nancy, as you were talking, one of the phrases that I have used for years as a tagline is engage and validate, right?
Yes.
And it's not just about creating something and people watching it and liking it and making all these comments and stuff. I mean, that's the engaging part. But the validation is when you go back and you say, oh, I haven't seen Tim for a while. What might be going on? And that's where that's when things happen, right? You follow up with somebody because we talk about emotional intelligence. And generally speaking, we talk about that when you're live in the room with somebody. But I think that it extends beyond that.
I agree.
Well, I want to jump in there real quick before you two jump back in, and Nancy will take it to you. But, when I have gone through over this last 7-8 months through my cancer battle and all of that, the first people to jump to my side, the first group of people were definitely the two of you. Were right there to support me. And, it's amazing. I do love you guys, and I do appreciate all that you've done. I'm a person who really has a great positive perspective on life. That's just the way God made me, which is a blessing. I know it's harder for some people that aren't created that way. But what I found was I really needed more support than I realized. I really needed more. You think you can do it. You think you're okay. You're giving out to everybody. You think you got it. And then you realize that you really need those people around you that love and care for you. So I just want to thank you both for that. That is part of what Scott is saying, the engagement, the taking it to the next step, the really getting involved and connecting with people on a deeper level. What do you think, Nancy?
Oh, those are words that ring very true for me and resonate because one of the things I teach people, like as we're doing this, we talked about LinkedIn and how to harness the power is the community, the people. That's the power, right? It's not sending the sale request. It's not talking about your business all the time on your page. That's not the power. That's something anyone can do. But connecting with people and really making that your first and only goal transforms everything into whatever it's going to be. We talked in the beginning about, those opportunities and saying yes. One conversation not only can change the world for you, but you could be changing the world for someone else. And that's a gift. I was backstage before the show, and we were talking about, somebody saw my keynote where I did a keynote thanks to this guy who invited me to be the keynote speaker at his first in-person event, showing up perspectives on cancer. And someone in the audience heard me speak, and they were really moved by what I had to say. And they went out of their way to tell me, which first of all is tremendous, right? To have how you're received reflected back to you is an incredible gift to be given, because we don't always see ourselves clearly. I just recently figured out that being me is a skill. That's a talent, it's one of those things. We show up as who we are for so long that sometimes we forget that that's special, and that nobody's like us exactly, and not everybody does things the way we do it. And so being us is important, and it's something that the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and the more you realize how powerful and impactful it is to show up as yourself. But I had this conversation with one person, and they were like, "You need to be on stage." And I know the organizer of Podfest Expo. I'm getting you on stage, and people say things to you all the time, right? And it's always lovely to hear, but you don't necessarily expect things to come from it. Always, happily surprised when it does. But 24 hours later, I got a text from the organizer, Chris Christomos. And I always say your name wrong, Chris. I'm so sorry. But he's like, "Hey, heard from my friend Zach, Zach, if you guys don't know Zach, you guys connect with everybody in the comments, connect with each other. It goes without saying. Zach's an amazing human." He said he heard from his friend Zach, great things about me, and that he's going to find a place for me at Podfest. And he put me on a panel. One conversation. From that conversation, I show up at Podfest, which is an amazing community. If you've not gone to the event, it's January in Orlando. Tim was there as well. It's just an incredible event. And the pod community, the pod fam is just we are all an incredible family. But when you jump into something like, I've never gone to that event before, and you feel like you're coming back home, that's special. If a community can make you feel like that. But from being there and having conversations with people, one-on-one conversations, being interested, really wanting to know about them, really enjoying their company, I booked 6 podcasts to be on. That's when you're ready and the universe comes knocking, as you said, say yes. But it's as simple as being interested. Like I asked, do you like humans? Do you like people? Because if you like people, you have everything you need to be successful, right? You like people. That's it. Go enjoy people and see what happens.
Well, this is where I think we all have so much in common, because we all love people. I mean, that is what drives me. And my whole why and purpose in life, to inspire and encourage others, is because I love people. I want them to be all that they can be. I want them to be.
And I'm going to butt in on you, Russ. I'm going to butt in on you, because
go for it.
So we got a lot of people in the comments today, and the 3 of us that are not Russ on the screen here. I will say, and I haven't done this before. I'm going to have everyone put #Russ in the comments if you've received a phone call or a text or a WhatsApp or a message from Russ that says, "I'm just thinking about you this morning. I'm praying about you. You're a great person." Put #Russ if you have received that message from Russ Hedge.
We're about to break the internet, Russ.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at that.
Well,
it's absolutely true.
I do, the reason that I love to give out to people is because I've received so much. I've been so blessed. And, a lot of times people say, they don't have time, or why do you do that? It's because I am so blessed with all of you here, all of the people in the comments. I am so blessed by the friends, the family, the people around me that have done so much for me. And so that is why I continue to do that, and I always will.
And you know what?
Nancy,
I tell
I think
people,
you must have been looking at my LinkedIn profile, because that's what it does say under my name is that one conversation can change your life or change your business.
It's and of course I was, brushing up on what I needed to know about you, because it's the first time we met and all. But yes, that's what it's about, right? That is what it's about. And when you get to that place, that's when the magic happens. And, we talk about not having the time. I fall victim to that. Like life is busy, life is rushing, things come up. But one of the things I always say is, if you're like most of us, and if you're not, congratulations, at some point in the day, you go to the bathroom and bring your phone with you. Whether or not we want to admit it, it's something we do. And in that time, you can send an emoji to someone. It doesn't have to be a long thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be in that moment that you go back and forth and engage in that conversation and go further there, thinking of you, let's catch up. It makes a huge difference. Just knowing that someone is thinking about you. And I've said it to people, like I said it actually to my brother at one point when I was going through my divorce. Do me a favor, put some reminders in your phone to send me an emoji. I said, I don't even need to know that it's not organic, because when I receive it, I know you mean it, and maybe you wouldn't have thought to do it, right? Because you're busy and you're doing everything. But if you put it in your phone and you send me that emoji, my heart, it's like the Grinch, it grows 2 sizes, right? It nourishes my soul. So even the smallest things, don't take for granted, from the most humble beginnings, huge things happen.
And this has come up on my wife's show, which has come up at 9 and on the Aging Better Network. And it's talks about, we've talked about the 2 different types of support that are out there, right? There's enacted support. And those are things like bringing somebody a meal or doing stepping in like Tim did and coming onto our show today. I mean, that's enacted support, right? As it turns out, and the research has proved this out, that perceived support is more helpful, more beneficial than enacted support. And perceived support is going, oh, I just know that Russ is there for me. This is, if something happens, I just know that Russ will be there. He doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah, knowing you have people in your corner is a very powerful thing. And for people, it's a savor the flavor morning. There it is. Yay! For people like me who, battle depression, knowing there's someone there really does make a difference. And knowing someone's there comes from the way they've shown up all along, right? It's not even necessarily in that moment. It's the people who show up at the shows to cheer me on. It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm down in the dumps and they showed up. It's because I know they're willing to show up in my good times and my bad, because I know they love me unconditionally. They've seen me. They've seen the ugly, snotty, unsexy, all parts of me, and they love me and they keep showing up for me. And that's what tells me I know I have people in my corner. And having people in your corner, it's for the times when you feel like you can't go another step, for when you feel like you can't, stand up, they help lift you. It's for the times when your brain is telling you all sorts of things that are not true and helpful, that you hear them in your head and you get that peace, right? That reminder that you're part of something bigger, that you matter and you make a difference. And it's true for all of us, whether or not you all right now, if anyone's thinking they don't, if their brain is telling them all sorts of lies that you don't matter, no one will miss you, it doesn't make a difference, it's not worth it. First of all, if you're in the US, call 988 and you will be connected anonymously with a qualified counselor. But no, we have to just know and believe that we make a difference. We each have a powerful, important story and role that we play in the bigger picture and in at least one other person's life. And if you can be that person, if you can just show up, like Tim, right? We just show up for the good, the bad, show up, engage on LinkedIn, engage in someone's post, share their post, come on the live show and, talk to somebody else in the comments. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Or like I do. And it's what I started doing when I came onto LinkedIn is I kind of faked it, quote unquote, for someone who talks about radiating real. But I went to a couple of shows and saw the same people in the comments. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to act like I belong here. And at the time, it felt like I was acting like I belonged here, but the reality was I did. And so I said hi. It happened to be DJ Durante. And I just said, hi, DJ, as if like, great to see you again. And it just started the conversation. And with other people in the comments as well, even when I'm on shows, I say, hi, great to meet you. Thanks for being here. Because it's genuine. That's the other thing. If you don't do these things in a genuine, authentic way, people feel that. We know that immediately, and that turns us off. It's the same people, Russ, that text us, or DM us in our, link and connections. I was looking at your profile. I'm so interested in what you do and would love to get to know more about you. And bam, here's my sales pitch, right? It's an immediate turnoff. because it's not that those first lines were not genuine, authentic. That was the, you know, hey, I'm buttering my bread so that, you know, I can draw you in with this. And that's just not how people, it's not a way to make people feel important, seen, heard, loved, or valued. And,
No.
you know, I think when we really start to think about the human on the other side, when I'm working with clients, I say, you know, do me a favor, write a connect request to yourself. Write it what you'd want to hear and how make it so you feel the way you'd want to feel. Because once you've done that, you have something you can write to someone else, right? As long as you know that it's going to make you feel a certain way. And then that's how you connect with other people. Again, do you like people?
Yeah.
And Peakaboo, again, the ICU reports gives us so much information and so many different ways to connect. And it's one of the reasons I'm so proud to be a part of it, because it just takes my mission here that much further, and shares it with people in a different way.
Well, I just want to say that you're amazing, Nancy. And I want both you and Tim here to take just a moment to give your last words, because we got to wrap things up. I got to be the responsible host, even though I want to keep going. I know Tim's got to get off to the Tim and Jim show coming at on at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right, Tim?
Able to be a guest on the show a while back. Unfortunately, Tim wasn't there, so I was like,
so I have
to be a guest on the N Jim show.
Yeah, you need a do-over.
Well, I'm going to tell you that's where I first met Tim, actually. And Tim, I'm going to let you go first here, but I first met Tim on the Tim and Jim show quite a few years ago. I can't remember now. And then I was just blessed to be back on a while back. But Tim, take it away. Give us your last thoughts of the day and help people get in touch with you.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Like I said, great to be here with you all to support you, Russ, with my alleged pom-poms. Don't have pom-poms, but imagine them here, as well as Nancy, Scott, all of you. It's so great to be here today. And the goat, you got to be here to support the goat. Always be goating. And also,
I was a little late on the goat. Sorry.
Never too late to be goating. Goating's a verb now, or it's a gerund, right? Because it has an ing at the end. Anyway, yeah. I mean, we've been talking a lot today about like the importance of supporting others, and you know, I just encourage you all to just send a message to someone today that you care about. Let them know that you love them, that you're there for them. That's so important because you never know what could happen in life. So those would be my last words for this show. Would love to connect with you all. You could connect with me on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn is really the best way to reach me, or my email is tim@sonesocialmediasolutions.com. And it's just awesome to be with you all today with my alleged pom-poms. And I did really write a book. It's really true. with all the contributors. There's
hashtag Amazon, get this guy some pom-poms.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know, I want to tell you, Tim, that you're amazing. I feel like I know exactly where you live in the middle of freaking nowhere in Pennsylvania, because Tim is always sending me pictures and videos from his morning walk, and we're talking. And so I appreciate that. So Nancy, you bless me too. I love your morning messages and just your friendship. Take it away. Give everybody your last thoughts and how they get in touch with you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. And again, if you're not connected to anyone you see on screen or in the comments, go ahead and do that, including myself. Send me a connect request. Just say you met me here. And, you know, Russ, you asked me to introduce myself at the beginning of the show. And the reality is the most important thing that I can say I am is human. So I've had people say to me like, oh my gosh, you know, your accomplishments or what I read on your profile, I was so intimidated. And I didn't think somebody said to me, like, if you have time to get back to someone like me. And I immediately responded and said, like you, like a human? Yeah, absolutely. I have time. So reach out. Don't remember the human behind everything that's on the page, and reach out and connect with people. I encourage you to do what Tim said is, go ahead and connect with someone. But I also am going to encourage you right now. And I turned my phone off so that I wouldn't get my morning alarm. So I can't demonstrate it. So I'm going to do a alleged selfie here. Take a picture, with yourself and the screen in the background and post it. Talk about today. Talk about something you learned, someone you met, how you feel, tag someone who you think would benefit from hearing what we're talking about here today. And definitely tag all of us, right? We're going to show up for you and we're going to support you, and use the hashtag radiating real, because as soon as you do that, you are radiating real. As Russ said, radiating real is not opening up your heart and telling every secret that you have ever held. That's not real or authentic. It's not what we do. But sharing a little bit of something you did this morning, something that made you think, made you smile, changed your day, right? That's radiating real. So start there. My word is synchronicity. So for me, it's all about, people talk about alignment. Yes, in line with what you want, knowing what you want, being ready for it to look completely different than what you expected, because I'm a speech language pathologist of 20 plus years with a private practice in LA who also works in the schools. Being a live stream host, a keynote speaker, an author, any part of this amazing community and all of the experiences that I have had was not in my vision. It wasn't something I could even imagine for myself, but things happened so synchronously, like they were just seamless, and things just kept happening that I knew that I found my path and my purpose, and my passion was ignited. So be open to things not looking exactly the way you think they are, but notice how things are syncing up. And that's where, right, you're in line with what's supposed to be happening, whether or not it looks like what you asked for. And I think that's a big one for us to allow ourselves to, we all have visions for ourselves and we're manifesting things, but sometimes the unexpected is exactly what you're asking for. And so don't overlook those opportunities or those people who show up in those moments. To connect with me, I'm a LinkedIn gal, so best place would be here, but I'm also on YouTube, Nancy Barrows. I am also on Facebook as Nancy Debra, Debra. And if you want to go to Instagram, which I'd love for you to do, it's vibing_with_Nancy_Debra. I still work in the public school, so I try to make myself a little bit more difficult to find. Worst comes to worst, you can send me some smoke signals, or you can check in with anyone on the screen. They know how to get me. And thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to meet new people, to grow my community, and let people know that they are seen, heard, loved, and valued. Thank you so much.
Well, I want to say on that too is life is all about not just you connecting people with people, but bringing other people together. Like you said, that's why I love my Russ Reels live show, because a lot of times I bring people together in a great group that don't even know each other as we're discussing topics.
And spell that reels. Spell reels.
Right.
Russ Reels, REALS, being real. So, and really, and I really got that idea too from Nancy in Radiating Real, because when we first met, and that hadn't even become a thing, and she wasn't even on any of the What's Good Wednesday and Shout Out Saturday, she'd show up in her pajamas and with her coffee in the morning, ready to go on anything I had on at the last minute. So I just appreciate that. And, I want to say that like everybody's saying here, reach out to somebody, tag them with another friend, or connect them via LinkedIn Messenger or something, and say, you two have so much in common. You need to meet and connect, because that is how I have met so many people, by bringing other people, bringing me together with them. And I jump from person to person to person, because when you find amazing people like Nancy and Tim, it's just going to bring more amazing people around. So make sure and do that today. And you two, we're going to send you out now and say goodbye so we can wrap this thing up. But thank you so much. You're a blessing. You'll definitely be on again soon. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And I always cut them off when they're saying goodbye. Sorry, Nancy.
Oh, it's just so amazing. So amazing. What a remarkable day. And thank you to everybody that's commenting, Brian. I just appreciate your leadership. I'll take a few days early and say shout out to Brian. Just such a remarkable human being, and that's what you get when you join the experience live with Russ and Scott.
That's it.
Hashtag
you get amazing people.
Russ.
And I want to say to everybody that tonight is What's Good Wednesday, on this Wednesday, and it's a great place to again connect with Brian and Nancy and amazing friends online. I have met so many amazing people through those shows. So please, whether you can just be in the comments or whether you can actually be on the show, you can jump on the video live on those shows. Do it. I encourage you highly. Connect with Nancy, with Tim, Daniel, who was not able to be with us today. All of his information is still available to you. So I want to make sure you do that. I have a ticket across the bottom as well. And so we have Nancy, Tim, me, Scott, and Daniel all there. You can connect with us. And I just want to encourage you to engage with people, love people, get out there and make a difference in this world. And Scott, any last words before we wrap this thing up?
I'll just say hashtag Russ, because like I said, everybody has been in that engage and validate, right? We've engaged with Russ, but you validate us with your notes and messages and bits of encouragement. And so I'm just grateful to be sharing this show, this screen, and the time that we get together live. It's just what a blessing.
I'm always blessed by you, Scott. Thank you. You are an amazing friend. And that is what brings me the joy to say, yeah! Gotta have me before we wrap the show up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a great day and a great life, and
enjoy the experience.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.